Good morning, everyone. Let's begin our Q&A session on Open Call through INNOVATE, promoted by SusRur project. Today's session will be hosted by me, Daniel Silva from F6S, and by our partner, Jorge Perez from Espacio Tormaleo. Two things before starting. One is that the session is being recorded and the recording will be available on our social media platforms and websites, so you can revisit wherever you need it to see what are the main topics related to SusRur project. And the second one is that we will have a Q&A session. This is our primary goal for this presentation. And you can ask your questions directly on the Q&A chat that is available on Zoom. So we invite you to add your questions directly there, and we will answer as soon as the session starts, the Q&A session starts. Just to give you a brief topics that we will discuss during this presentation. So we will do a very brief presentation about the SusRur project. There are some novelties about the INNOVATE program. So we have launched this Wednesday some updates regarding the call that we would like to highlight. So we will navigate a little bit on the INNOVATE program and also in the terms and conditions to provide you the main alterations from the previous versions. So we will discuss this. And at the end, as you know, we will have the Q&A session where we are open to try to clarify and reply to all your questions and doubt regarding the program. So please don't be shy. Put your questions and we will try to answer them. There is no silly questions or stupid questions, I would say. So please don't be afraid. Put your questions. We are here to help you and we are here to try to clarify. So I will give the floor to my colleague Jorge that will present the SusRur project.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So welcome everybody. I'm Jorge Perez from Espacio Tormaleo, which is one of the members of this partnership of SusRur project. Okay, so the title of the project is, as you can see, towards sustainability and resilient scenarios for tourist SMEs in rural and remote areas. This is a project which is part of a topic from the European Commission a couple of years ago to promote the recovery of tourist SMEs from the COVID-19 outbreak. That for some of you or some of us maybe it's like looks like a long time ago, but this outbreak severely affected the different European sectors, and the tourist sector was one of the most affected in terms of not only from economic activity. So the Commission wanted to support the recovery of the tourist sector by promoting these different projects in the area. Okay. In our case, what we did is that we came together from 5 different European regions with had like common needs and challenges. And we focus our project for the concept of rural and remote areas. Okay, so the coordinator of this project is the Kaunas University of Technology in Lithuania, and there are also 5 additional partners. One is the Entrepreneurship Support Foundation joined for CS from Greece, us, Espacio Tormaleo, Koestinger Consulting from Austria, the Harghita Association from Romania, and F6S from Ireland, which is not, let's say, participating in terms of promoting SMEs from their region, but F6X is supporting the third-party financial support and is taking care of of all these activities going on, like for example this open call. The project started in January 2023 and will end up in December 2025, so 3 years duration, and the budget is 1.2 million, from which around 60% is for third-party financial support. So next slide, please. Okay, so the main aim of the project is to provide a support platform mainly for tourist SMEs in rural and remote areas in these 5 different regions, to promote sustainability from all the different possible angles in terms of productivity practices, competitiveness, etc., and to provide some funding support for these SMEs to enhance their sustainability performance and to embrace the twin digital and green transition, which is one of the main strategies from the European Commission for the coming years. Next slide, please. Okay, so within the project we have many different activities. Okay, we have training and capacity building for the participating companies. We will organize webinars and clustering events. We will create different outputs in terms of a booklet of good practices, a toolkit, different kind of outputs for the tourist sector in general, specifically for the to support SMEs from these regions participating in the project. But the main aspect in terms of support is third-party financial support through 2 different open calls. Okay, first open call already is ending this week because it was to support SMEs to get on board an accelerator program with a duration of 5 months. And this second open call that we call INNOVATE was we aimed to support SMEs in order to first learn about different good practices in other European regions, to be able to to learn on site, and then to be able to understand and be able to replicate these good practices. Okay, so the overall aim of the program is to promote this cross-regional innovation. Okay, so the idea is like SMEs, with the concept of SMEs is not only private companies but also entrepreneurs. Okay, like self-employed people also is included in the definition of SME. To promote this cross-regional innovation from the different regions participating in the program. Okay, so the aim for this call is to identify, select, and replicate good practices, and to develop this at the local level. Okay, so the objectives of this open call is to uptake and replicate good practices to enhance the sustainability of the applicants, or in this case SMEs from the different regions, to promote sustainable practices. Okay, in this case by providing financial support for the potential candidates to embark onto a certification scheme or label for sustainable tourism. And then to promote, to enhance the performance in the digital and green transition through consultancy services in digital marketing or sustainability. Okay, in this case, the aim of this program is to support up to 80 SMEs in the 5 regions, and selected applicants will be able to get up to 7,000 euros of lump sum grant. Okay, next slide, please. The expected outcomes from this, mainly the first, SMEs but candidates will be able to access a wide catalog of sustainable good practices in rural tourism, okay, in other European regions, in order to learn, be able to visit on site, to replicate and to implement, in order to create new services, products, or solutions in their daily activity. Okay. In this case, this will contribute to an enhanced sustainability performance and will promote acceleration of the digital and green transition. Also, the expected outcomes from this call is like the SMEs that will participate in the open call will be able to increase the resilience capacity of rural tourism, because this is very important. and they will be able to provide resources and knowledge to rural tourist SMEs to boost their sustainability and digital skills. And the other aim is to facilitate and motivate the access to tourist sustainability certifications, labels, and schemes. Next, please. Yeah, so the supported activities, we have 4 different supported activities in this open call. First one is the replication of good sustainable practices. Okay, so we created a booklet of different categories: circular economy, clean energy transition, digitalization, smart mobility, and biodiversity. And we created a catalog of good practices from the different participating regions that it's available on the website, and you will be able to get on the application form. So the idea is that candidate SMEs will be able to learn, replicate, and set up these good sustainability practices at the local level. Okay, Daniel will explain later on, but you will be able to access this catalog. This is a living document. There are a number of good practices already available. I think about between 40 and 50, but this will increase in the next coming weeks. And you will be able to choose these good practices once the selection process of the call is completed. Next slide, please. Second activity supported under this open call is the training and capacity building. Okay, so SMEs that will enter this INNOVATE program will be able to complete 2 trainings from the Global Sustainable Tourist Council, which is well, the most recognized entity regarding sustainable tourism in Europe. So these online and interactive trainings can be performed online, and there are not only in English, but also in some other languages. So what the SMEs will obtain through the participation in these trainings, they will get in-depth knowledge of the Global Sustainable Tourist Council criteria and the global standards for sustainability, okay, in tourist industry. They will be able to make good decisions on how to implement sustainable practices in their daily activity, and they will get ready to develop different policies and practices in their organization at the local level. Okay, next slide, please. Third activity to be supported is consulting services. This will be done by external service providers. Okay, so there will be a list of trustable service providers from each country that SMEs will be able to select from this. This will be done after the completion of the evaluation and selection process. And between today and tomorrow, we will release this call for service providers to get a pool of service providers that will provide these consultancy services to the SMEs. So in this case, we selected 3 different types of activities that you will be able to perform. One of them is a digital marketing plan. Second one is a sustainability and a strategy plan. And the third one is a technology and innovation survey. Okay, so part of this lump sum grant can be used to hire external consulting services, and they will support you in creating these 3 possible plans or activities. Next slide, please. And the final one is the Sustainable Tourist Certification Scheme and Labels. Okay, one important thing that has been updated from the previous webinar is initially this was like a compulsory activity as part of the open call, but we decided to change this from compulsory to non-compulsory, okay, optional, because we understand that even in rural and remote areas, the SMEs maybe they are not aware, or they don't really know, understand the potential benefits of completing one of these certification scheme and labels, and this could hinder the success of the open call. So we believe that changing this from compulsory to optional, we will be able to attract more, and we of course encourage you to complete this activity as part of this program, no? If you decide to enter and you are selected. So we have a number of different certification schemes and labels in sustainable tourism. Okay, one is the UL Eco label that maybe most of you will know, and there are others like Green Key, Travel Life, Green Glove, and Biosphere, which are some of the most respected labels and schemes for sustainable tourism. And as in the booklet or the catalog of good practices, this is like a living thing, so we will be able to incorporate maybe more certification schemes in the coming weeks before the deadline. So once you are selected, you will be able to perform or to select one of these labels or certificates from the list, but taking into account that there are other schemes and labels which could be included, but due to the cost of this is much higher than the financial support that we can provide. So we selected those that really fit into the kind of financial support that we can provide you. Next, please. Okay, so I believe that's all from my side. So I'll thank you for your attention, and I'll pass the floor back to Daniel. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jorge, for your very clear presentation on the SusRur project and also on the Open Call to Innovate program. Now I will delve into the terms and conditions of this call that are being updated due to the change that Jorge mentioned during his presentation. So first of all, just in a nutshell, most of the things are as you can see, equal. But the ones that are here highlighted at yellow are the main changes that we have done since our last webinar. So the first thing that I want to tell you and I want to mention here is that the call is open yet, so you can submit your applications until the 3rd of April at 5 p.m. Central European Summer Time. The indicative budget haven't changed, so we have 560,000 euros to support SMEs, up to 80 from 5 eligible regions. And since one of the activities is now optional, estimate budget per SME is up to 7,000 euros. And I will explain why this changed. And the duration of program, so the time that you have to dedicate to this program is 12 months starting in July 2024. Here you have the links to the main documents of the documentation kit that is available on this link that I have already shared also in the chat. And the three highlighted at yellow with the update were the 3 documents that have been updated regarding the last change. So here nothing changed. So we have supporting activities to study visits for the replication, something that Jorge explained very well, that you have to perform minimum of 2 training courses from the online and iterative training and course developed by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, that you go to this link, and if you go to our website and the call page, you have also the link to this online and interactive training, and you will be able to see what is available. This is something that is changing, so we invite you all to be there and to follow the opportunities that you have regarding these training courses. The access to a specialized consulting service for these 3 topics that you have to select during the application form. And as Jorge mentioned, so the implementation of one sustainable tourism certification scheme is one of the activities that we are supported, that is now optional. So you can decide if you want to embrace this one or if you want to engage in this activity or not. And options available on the guide for applicants at this moment are preliminary, and we are collecting others if we identify others that can be under the scope of this opportunity. Finally, you have the participation in the final region meeting at month 12, where applicants are based. and this is a compulsory activity. So here I would like also to highlight these notes that you can see here at the green. So please take very careful attention to this, pay very careful attention to this as they provide you important information. Regarding the eligible costs, so since the call has changed, we decided also to give you more details about the distribution of the grant per activity or per eligible cost. So for the travel and subsistence, we believe that 3,000 euros of the total grant amount are enough to cover all costs with travel, accommodation, and subsistence activities to the 2 visits and also for the final regional meeting. Another thing that I would like to highlight is the other costs, direct costs. So one of the things that I would like to mention here is the 1,000 euros that is specific for certification schemes that are now optional and cover all costs with membership rates, annual subscription, and final fees, and also consulting and audit service related to these certification schemes. So if you decide to engage in this activity, you will receive these 1,000 euros if, of course, your costs are eligible. And the remaining budget will be direct to the costs with registration fees for the training sessions. And another one that is very important to mention here is that we have the 2,000 euros for the specialized consulting service as identified in the activity C of the support activity. So this 2,000 euros is specific for this activity, the consulting service, to develop one of the 3 plans and the topics that we mentioned in the call. Regarding the application form, nothing changed here. So we invite you to watch the first webinar, but very briefly, the call, you have to submit your application form through F6S submission system. Here is the link to access the application form, and any other format or any other application that is submitted by any other means will be automatically discarded and not be evaluated. So it's very important. We have to follow this link and we have to submit your application directly on F6S submission system. And another thing to do this, to be able to submit your application, we have to have a user account on F6S and also a company profile account. Here is the video showing how to do that. I will pass this because today's session is more about the Q&A session, and also because you will find this video on the first webinar. Regarding the application form, so there is an update here as well in the implementation section, but I will also very briefly talk about the administrative form that is very important. So you have to indicate if you are a self-employed person or not. If you are enterprise, you just need to give your business name, business legal name. If you are a self-employed person, you have to give us your full name. Indicate the type of enterprise that you are. So we invite you to go to these European Commission recommendations PDF and identify, and there are all there the definitions about what kind of enterprise you should or you will be if you are an SME. So type of enterprise, it's very important. And also you have to indicate the tax registration number according to your country rules and according to your professional situation. So if you have a VAT number, you are invited to submit your VAT number. If you are using your unique identification number, you have to indicate your unique identification number. And very important here, you have also to submit the tax registration certificate that clearly shows that you are engaged in the economic activity. There are here the links that you can follow and you must follow, and also what are the documents that you have to submit. So this is very important. If you fail to provide these at the application form or application stage, your application will be deemed ineligible and not be evaluated. So it's very important to follow. Regarding the alterations or the changes from the previous webinar, so since the sustainable certification is no longer mandatory, we have made a very brief change to the application form. We are not anymore collecting the certification scheme that we would like to perform, but we have a question regarding the sustainable certification schemes, where we should indicate, if you engage in this activity, what will be the main contribution towards digital and green transition. So now you are not invited to indicate the sustainable certification, and we would like to do this kind of exercise where you can identify the benefits of having these sustainable certification schemes in your company. Other important considerations that I will also mention very briefly: all applications needs to be submitted in English. So this is mandatory. Even if you don't dominate the English language, you can always use the translate, that's okay. But you must submit your application in English. If you don't, there is a problem, because we cannot evaluate applications that are submitted in local language, since other partners from different regions will evaluate your application. So this is why it is important to submit your application in English. So one application per applicant, and you have to submit before the deadline. Eligibility criteria is the same, so we are inviting all participants from 5 eligible regions working on the tourism sector under these NACES classes. Eligible regions, so Asturias, Western Macedonia, Harghita, Utena, and Sterishis Vulcanland. If you have received financial funding support from SusRur previously, or any other projects funded by the same topic that SusRur was funded, you are ineligible under this call. So you are not eligible and we cannot support you. Regarding the evaluation and selection process, so after the application stage finish, we'll proceed with the eligibility check. We will have the remote evaluation by 2 experts from SusRur project, different from your region. If needed, the consensus meetings, we'll have consensus meeting to analyze your application. There will be a first preliminary ranked list. However, we are not only selecting the highest scored applications, but due to some of the agreements that we have with the European Commission, we are obligated to submit a minimum number of SMEs per region, and we are giving preference to these criteria, and after that we will select the highest ranked according to the scores from the evaluation process. By then we will have the final ranked list and the reserve list if you are not within the 80 SMEs that we are funding. Regarding timelines, so these are only indicative. So the submission stage ends at 3rd of April. Evaluation and selection stage will occur between 4th of April and 10th of May. These are all indicative, so it will depend, of course, also in the number of applications that we receive during the call. The subgrant agreement stage should be concluded by mid of June, and if everything goes according to our plan, the INNOVATE program will start in the first day of July. So by doing the change that we have released last Wednesday, we also changed the checkpoints and payments. So this had a direct effect on the way we are now checking the progress of your project and also the way we proceed with payments. The first thing that I would like to highlight is that there is a new checkpoint related to the optional activity tourism certification schemes and label, and also the deliverable regarding the specialized consulting service is one of the reports that you have to, or that you are asking to the service provider to help you develop. So a digital marketing plan, a sustainability and strategy plan, and a technology and innovation survey. So those are the main updates regarding the last webinar and the last version of the guide for of the documents regarding the Open Call to Innovate program. And there is also a direct effect on the way we proceed with payments. So right now, there is a 6,000 euros grant amount linked to compulsory activities and 1,000 euros related to the optional activity. And that has an effect on the way we distribute the money during over the 3 periods. So here you can see the values. So first payment will be 1,800 euros. The second payment will be 2,100 euros. The third payment will be 2,100 euros regarding the mandatory activities. And if you complete the checkpoint 5 that is related to the certification scheme, you will receive also 1,000 euros. And that's it regarding the payments. Very important to pay attention to the notes that are linked to each one of the slides. Now we will start with the Q&A session. So we have 30 minutes only dedicated for this part. And I will invite you. I can see that there is no questions at the moment. I invite you everyone to ask your questions direct on the Q&A chat, and we will answer them. And it is important for you to also put these questions, since some of the questions maybe are the same that other participants have, and we can try to also clarify them. While we're waiting for the questions to start showing up in our question and answer chat, I would like to inform you as well of one of the novelties that we are now including in our support service, let's call like that. So if you have any question, you can always put your question directly to the SusRur project at the email that you can see here. And we have also partners, we have members of our partners available to also provide you support during this process. So if you are from one of these regions, you can identify here who is the partner that is helping, and would like to. And if you would like to contact directly, they are available to help you during this process. This support service is provided in local language, so if you have some difficulties with the English language, you can always use this as well. So we invite you to use this regional support service that will clarify you all the questions that you might have. I can see that we don't have questions at this moment. That's another thing that I would like to mention here is that there are sessions that are being promoted by the regional partners as well. So pay attention to that as well, since partners are giving these local sessions to help you and to also provide you a more dynamic presentation with you in person. So if you have any questions, use these regional sessions as well to clarify your doubts. I have here one that will happen next week in Asturias, Spain. So there is an S missing. Sorry for that. So Wednesday, 20 March at 12:13 local time. So in Centro Municipal de Empresas de Pola de Somiedo, that is promoted by our Spanish partner. So if you have any questions, you can participate in this session as well and try to be clarified. Since we don't have any questions, I am prepared for that situation, and I have here some of the frequent asked questions that are asked to us, and you can find this information also in the website. And one of the things that primarily potential participants ask us is if a self-employed person working in the tourism sector is eligible or not, or can apply to this call. So yes, a self-employed person, as defined by European Commission, is also an SME. If you are working on the tourism sector, so if you are working in one of the NASA's classes eligible under this call, and if you are based in one of the eligible regions, yes, you can apply to this call. Another question that normally participants ask us also is how self-employed persons can show or can confirm that they are engaged in the economic activity, and if they have to submit something. Yes, during the submission process, you have to submit a certificate of registration providing and proving that you are engaged in the economic activity. So this is very important. You can find the links and the document names that we are collecting at the submission stage, and you should follow and you should use them to submit these and to prove that you are engaging in economic activity. So this is very important as well. Please, if you have any questions, use the chat that we have, the open and questions, the question and answers chat. We will love to clarify or to provide you more information about your probably questions that you have. So don't be shy, you can use it, and we will be here for more minutes to provide you this information. Another question that normally pops up by participants is if do I need to submit a tax registration number to be deemed eligible under SusRur Open Call to INNOVATE program? If you are based in one of the eligible regions, yes, it is mandatory for this call. You have to submit it at the submission stage, a tax registration certificate. So this is very important to confirm that you are an SME and that you have and that you are legal in one of the under your country rules and laws. Another question that normally is asked to us is about the eligibility criteria regarding the region. So if I'm working, for instance, let's have this exercise. If I'm working on or if my company is based in one region that is not an eligible region, but I have some activity there, can I apply, yes or no? No. So we are supporting companies that are legally based on the eligible regions. So we are mandated to support these companies, so to support these regions and to support the SMEs, the tourism SMEs from rural and remote companies. And we are obligated to only provide financial support to these SMEs. Another question that normally is also mentioned and people normally ask us, so if I receive funding from a previous call managed by SusRur consortium, can I apply to this call? No. So we can only support one time or per call. We can only support an SME per call. That's the basic idea, but you cannot receive from two different calls managed by SusRur project funding support. So you are only restricted to one call. So if you have support, you have received funding support from one call, you cannot receive from another call. And the same applies to the other projects that are also supported by the same program under the European Commission. So this is very important. We received our first question, so I will answer live and maybe give the floor to Jorge to answer these questions. So will be a new SusRur project in the next year. So Jorge, do you want to answer this question?
Yes. If you mean, the project itself, no, because this project is specific for one open call from the European Commission. So unless there is similar a similar call from the EU that we can kind of provide a continuation of this project, probably no. So I will take the opportunity to to encourage you to apply while this project is running. If you are talking about open calls, it will depend, okay, because we have to fulfill a number of SMEs to be supported during the duration of the project. And depending on the success of the open calls, we might have to open a third open call, but we don't know the scope and what will be the scope of this open call, if there will be any. So if you are interested in the topic, if you are eligible, and if you are interested in enhancing the sustainability performance of your company or your business as an entrepreneur or self-employed person, I will recommend and I will encourage you to apply to this call that will with a deadline on the 3rd of April. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jorge. So I think it was clear. If you have any other question, please use the chat. We are here to provide you or to clarify all your doubts and questions that you might have. So please use it. If not, I will continue my exercise as a frequent asked questions that I was mentioned about the support received by other sister project of SusRur projects. So if you have received any support from these ones, unfortunately, you cannot also apply to this open culture. Regarding the application form, so in order to be able to submit your application form in the F6S submission system, do I need to have an F6S profile? Yes, you have. You have to create a user profile and also a company profile. I highly recommend, if you don't know how to do that, to follow the previous webinar, where is a video showing very briefly how to do this, how to create an account, how to create a profile, a company profile as well, and how to complete your application form. There is also a document on the web page that I share with you in the chat, where you can go there and also see the step-by-step guide, how to create a user profile on F6S and how to complete your application form as well. So there are two formats that you can use. There is a video on the recording on the first webinar, and also there is a step-by-step guide on the OpenCall webpage. So how and when will I access my financing if I have, of course, selected for funding? So there is now a new, okay, but before going here, we have another question. So I will jump into that part. So can I visit two different good practice from two different countries from the list, or they need to be from one country if my application will be selected for funding in the project? So maybe, Jorge, you can explain as well here.
Yes. So the question is, can I visit two different good practices from two different countries for the list? No. In principle, I mean, we wanted to promote a cross-regional collaboration. That's why you will have a number of good practices from the other participating regions. So the idea is to perform one single study visit, and for that, you will be able to choose 3 different good practices from one single region. Okay. Because I mean the calculations for the traveling and accommodation are based on one single study visit to one single country, because otherwise the cost of this will increase and we will not be able to cover with the lump sum grant. And so be careful when you check the catalog of good practices to be able to select 3 from the same region.
Okay, thank you so much, Jorge, for your explanation. Just to mention that at the application form, what we are inviting you to do is to select the topics that you are more likely to perform under this activity. And if you are selected, there will be a matchmaking process before the program starts, where you will have to identify what are or which are the good sustainable practice that you would like to visit. And that's the reason why we are doing that, is that unfortunately GPs providers cannot host everyone. If you, for instance, select all the same GP, and we have to, of course, guarantee that no one will be overbooked, or at least also to guarantee as well that all GPs from different countries are also visited. So just to add this information here, we have another question. So this is regarding the application form. So I have tried to create a user profile this morning, but it didn't go through, couldn't validate and join. Any tips? So if you follow the instructions, if you try to create the profile as indicated, and if you are not able to join the F6S community, my suggestion here is to contact directly the support team from F6S that will absolutely guide you and help you how to solve these issues. So there is an email, I have to confirm, but I believe it is support@f6s.com that you can contact and ask your doubts and expose your situation and problem. So I will add this email on the chat. So if you cannot unfortunately join the community, you can always contact our support team that will help you for sure to conclude the process. Okay. Then if you have any other question, please you can also ask again or add a new question here. We have another question. So if my company applies to the online course from GSTC, how many people can go to participate on the course? For example, 2-3 courses must be completed. 3 people can go for the same course, and it will be calculated as 3, or 3 different courses must be completed by 3 different persons. So I think I can answer this one. The principle here is that your SME company will receive a funding grant to provide or to complete this activity. We are not, of course, there is we advise, and it will depend, of course, on the dimension of each SME. But we advise to use it only by one team member. However, we don't restrict this. So if, for instance, you have two team members that would like to participate in these training sessions, that's okay. What we are required at the end of the project, so by the checkpoint, I believe it is the 3rd checkpoint, is that you have to submit at least 2 certificates of attendance and completion of the training. So if the 2 members are part of the SME, I would say that's okay. But by then, me as an open call manager, I will have also to check if that person is really under employment agreement with your SME, if it is a person different from the one that applied to the call. So I would say that that's okay. You will have received these 1,000 euros specific for the completion of this activity. If it is in the same SME, that's okay if different people attend these sessions. However, 2 certificates are needed at the end to prove as a checkpoint of this activity. And if there are 2 different people, or 2 different team members, I will to ask for additional documentation that proves that the second person is also under an employment agreement with your SME. Okay. No other questions here. So we have a couple of minutes left. So let's use it to complete these frequent asked questions while we're waiting for new questions. So regarding the payments, they are linked to checkpoints, as I was mentioned. So if you complete and if you provide the requirements / deliverables for each one of the checkpoints, and if they are validated by the open call manager, you will be entitled to receive the corresponding payment of that period. So, and there is also the 1,000 euros to complete an optional activity related to the sustainable certification schemes. What is a lump sum? So this is very important to mention here. So lump sums are defined upfront and fixed in the subgrant agreement. So we have fixed, as you can see, or as you saw during the presentation, there are some checkpoints that you have to complete, and if you complete, you will receive the corresponding funding amount to that activity. So we are not doing any kind of financial audit, or you don't need to submit expense invoices or other expense that you had during your participation here. You just need to submit your the checkpoints, the deliverables corresponding to the checkpoints, and if they are completed, you will receive the corresponding payment. So this is a very easy way of managing fundings, and they are all defined in the guide for applicants and in the subgrant agreement that if you are selected, you have to sign with the open call manager of SusRur project. Cascade funding. So what is cascade funding? That is basically what we are doing. So we received money from we applied to European Commission funding opportunity, and part of the money that we are receiving, part of the budget that we are receiving from our project is to support SMEs with the goal or under the scope of our project. So the main objective of this financing method is to simplify administrative procedures with SMEs, which will allow as well to SMEs to be allow and give this opportunity to SMEs to participate also in the European Commission funded project. So it is very important. So we are giving you, or we are supporting SMEs, and the support that we are providing, the financial support, comes from the budget from European Commission. And this is what I was saying just moments ago. So where does the funding come from? So the funding comes from the European Commission under the project or the topic that we were selected and funded. So as an SME, selected SME for this program, how can I benefit from the funding? So the funding will give you the opportunity to improve your sustainability performance towards the twin, green, and digital transition by giving you an opportunity to implement different activities, predefined activities. However, you can, of course, work with them and try to implement the ones that are more likely or that are more important for you, and have this replication of good sustainable practice, have the opportunity to network with other SMEs from different regions with different ways to implement their projects. So we will have the opportunity to have this cross-national network. Also the training session, so to improve your sustainability and innovative practice. Have access to specialized consulting service from a list of service providers selected and admitted by SusRur projects. So there is some kind of checking of the quality of the work that can provide, and also as an optional activity to start to adopt and implement a sustainable tourism certification scheme and label. And we received another question, so I will jump right away to that. So do we need to indicate in the brief explanation of the good practice topics if we already have chosen a specific region and company would like to visit and form the explanation accordingly? So let me read again. Do we need to indicate in the brief explanation of the good practice topic if we already have chosen a specific region? So the goal here, I understand your question. So the goal here during the submission stage is to understand, or the exercise that we are trying to do with the potential applicants is to, okay, we have 6 topics for the GPs, and companies are invited to select 2 topics that they would like to implement, and you can check the preliminary list of GPs available and check which topic or which GPs you would like to do. However, at the submission stage, what we are focused on are the GP topics, and you have to indicate, okay, which topic makes sense to me to implement, and how this topic or how the implementation of this one of the GPs under this topic that is different from your region, of course, this is mandatory, will help you to, or will benefit your improvement on the sustainability performance and innovative performance to your business. So we are not asking you to give us or to indicate which GP would you like to perform. And as I explained it, the reason why we are doing this is that we have to, unfortunately, GPs providers cannot host all companies. So we have to do this matchmaking service to guarantee that a GP provider only receives an amount of potential applicants or selected applicants according to the time they have available to the project, and also to guarantee that there is an equal distribution. Of course, it doesn't mean that needs to be the same to all regions, but try to even here the number of GPs that are selected in each one of the regions. So that's why we are not asking directly on the application form if the GP that you would like to do. I would believe, and we will do our best that for companies to implement or to visit or implement the GPs that they would like to do. However, we have to guarantee, of course, that there is an even distribution between the regions, and also that there is no GP provider overbooked by solutions that they could not follow up or provide their feedback. So we have to guarantee those. So I don't see any other question here. We are just 3 minutes over our time, and I would like to just complete here the frequent asked questions. So what is the value for me participating in SusRur project? First of all, you have the opportunity to implement in a 12-month project and implement this project in a 12-month period and improve your sustainability performance towards clean, green, and digital transition, obtain credibility and recognition from a EU funding project, receive up to 7,000 euros lump sum funding, equity-free, develop new skills and replicate and implement innovative solutions, access to a specialized consulting service, and if you decide to do that, also initiate a certification scheme and label. And one of the things that are also very important and also very attractive, I believe, as being part of this call is the opportunity to network with other SMEs from different regions that probably face the same problems as you, and they are trying to tackle them. So with a different perspective, I would say that this is one of the biggest values by participating in this call. And okay, last question. So by this exercise. So my application was accepted. What are the next steps? So if you are accepted, or if your application is one of the highest or one of the SMEs that will be in the final ranked list, you will receive via email an invitation letter to start the preparation of the subgrant agreement. Some additional information can be requested by the open call manager, and you have to submit as well and sign one of the declaration of honor, provide bank account information form for the payments, and if applicable, SME status checklist. So I conclude here this exercise, and we receive another question that I believe we can answer very quickly. So can association with commercial profile apply? Okay. If you are an SME as defined by the European Commission, yes. So this is what we are checking. So an association with commercial profile, I believe you are mentioned an association for profit entity, I believe. If it is not considered a small and medium enterprise, cannot be funded. If it enters this definition of SME by European Commission, yes, you can apply. So I don't know if you have more questions or not. I would like to leave this final information about the regional support service and the SusRur project service as well. We are here to help you. We are here to give you and answer your questions. So if you have more questions, please use these contact forms. We are here, and I believe everyone here in the regional support service and myself as an open call manager, we are here to reply as soon as possible to your questions. So please use these contact forms, and I want to wish you good luck. If you are submitting your application under this call, we invite you to do that. And if you have any other question, or if you want to know more about the SusRur project, you can always visit our website and check the call terms and conditions and the information, or rewatch one of our webinar recordings that will be available on our social media channels and webpage. So if there is no other questions, I will conclude this webinar. I want to thank you once again to Jorge for your time and for your precious contribution and explanations. Wish you all a good day and also a great weekend. Thank you so much.